once more from the beautiful shores of the Adriatic.
This is the biggest buy-in of the year.
$200,000 to win potentially up to $7 million.
This is the marquee event.
The TRITON Invitational.
Wow, 200K just incinerated like that.
I have to rebuy within 60 minutes. Otherwise, I'm out of the tournament. So this is the last chance.
With the VIP and Pro side combining at the start of day 2, this last level could be vital for the tournament lives of these pros. The question is, who's going to see it through?
Just a few seconds away from starting, I realize I'm set with even more TRITON champions. Ben Tollerin, he has been crushing online high stakes both in Hold'em and in PLO. Linus, he's considered the best cash game player in the world, a really sharp player. Nick Petrangelo, one of the best American players, one of the coaches for GTO Lab, one of the best program schools in the world. He has seen it all and has a lot of experience.
If you cooler me now, then you owe me a dinner.
Deal. The last couple of levels are usually the most important ones. Tension in the room shifts as the players desperately hold on to make it to day 2.
Things are looking quite dicey over on the pro side at the moment. We're on the last level of day 1. You know this has to be on the players' minds right now.
So I made it to day 2 and I'm really excited because I achieved the goal to make it to this stage. And I ended up bagging 228,000 chips, which is less than the start stake. But I made it to day 2 and on day 2 anything can happen. On my table, I have the chip leader of the tournament, Alexander Pavicevic. He has barely played any live poker tournaments and he ended up bagging the most chips. He has this aura around him. He looks like from a James Bond movie and he acts like it, you know, nobody knows who he is and he comes on and crushes it. I know that he was playing super wild yesterday. He was owning people left and right, so it makes it very tough to play against him. Only 30 minutes into day 2, my tournament life is already put to the line. I'm in the big blind and I look down at 10-7 suited. And I face a raise from Mikalai. Mikalai is a great friend of mine and a great poker player. He won the TRITON main event last year here in Montenegro and plays both online and live the high stakes. I end up calling and we see the flop of 9-6-3 with 2 hearts. For me, this is one of the best flops I can hope for. A flush draw, a gut shot and an overcard and enough equity against just about any hand to get all the chips in. After Mikalai starts with a small bet, I end up raising to 52,000. This is like exactly the hand that I want to check raise. I hope that he just calls and I get to shove the turn, but he had other plans. He puts me all in and at this point I have an easy decision. I call the rest of my chips and I see the bad news. Seeing the ace-3 of hearts is unfortunate because Mikalai has the flush draw and a pair, and against this specific hand I'm not doing too well. The turn is the ace of spades. This is an absolute disaster. I only have about an 8% chance to stay in the tournament. At this point, my chances look really slim. And the river is absolutely fantastic. The 8 of clubs, which gives me a gut shot and a straight. Yeah, at these moments, especially in such a big event, in the biggest event of the year, when you hit the river like this, it's just like, I didn't show it in the video because I didn't want to celebrate in front of Mikalai, but I felt a little, not guilty, but it feels like when you suck out on a friend.
Cooler straight against 2 pair.
Moving on to the next hand, and I'm playing against one of my friends, Alex Ponakov. Alex is one of the greatest players of our generation. He's leading a young group of really talented players that all play the TRITON Super High Roller series, and he's extremely well studied. I know Alex is a very aggressive player and he always finds the tough combos in the aggressive line. So I end up open raising pocket 8s from the cutoff and Alex 3-bets from the small blind to 64,000. I end up thinking I have 45 big blinds. You could make an argument for all in, but I end up calling. The flop comes 6-6-4 rainbow. He goes for a small 25% pot sizing. And now I have the decision. This holding specifically, I think a small raise does make a lot of sense. If he has an overpair, then it's just a cooler and there's nothing I can do about it. But he has just enough other hands, like 2 overcards, some backdoor flush draws that I want to either get the money in on the flop or not allow them to see a free card, especially with a vulnerable hand like pocket 8s. So he looks like he really has a decision. Of course, if he shoves, it's quite likely that he has an overpair like pocket 10s or pocket checks that I have very little equity against. But it's also likely that he could end up doing the same thing with ace king, ace queen, where he just needs to put the money in. Both scenarios are fine, but for me the preferred is him just folding. I'm up to 13 chips on the table now, when eventually I have the first confrontation with the tournament chip leader. We've seen some wild hands on the table already, and I've seen Alex open quite a few hands too wide than he should. So as adjustment, you want to attack his weak opening range. It folds around to me, and I have King 10 suited, which is a good candidate to 3-bet in this position. And I go for a 3-bet to 65,000. When it falls back to him, obviously I'm hoping for a fold. If he calls, that's fine too, but he has other ideas. He thinks for a few seconds, grabs a 500,000 chip stack, basically putting me all in. It's fun to play with Alex because he brings a lively and social element. He knows how to put people to the test, so you need to be ready to play for all your chips at any given point. In this moment, I got caught 3-bet bluffing, but I also know this at some point will level itself out. By the end of level 12, things are going well. But on the very last hand before the break, I find out why they say there are no friends on the poker table. So I look down in the big blind to 10-8 suited. And it's generally a quite favorable board for the big blinds because I defend quite a few lower cards. I check over to Alex and he then opts to check back, which is good for me because this hand I would have had to fold against the c-bet. So when the turn pairs my 8, I'm under the impression that I most of the time have the best hand. He's supposed to check back some of the overpairs, sometimes aces, sometimes kings. But generally I have a pretty strong hand and I want to build a pot. So here I have that option to go for a large turn bet and I end up betting around 80% pot. So when the river brings the 9 of diamonds, I still have a very good hand. I have basically a top pair. He doesn't have too many 9x. He sometimes has ace 9, but generally most of the 9s that he has in his range, with 10-9, check 9, queen 9, they mostly c-bet themselves. So he only has the ace 9 combos and maybe sometimes pocket 9s. Everything else like ace king, ace queen, maybe ace 5, pocket 6s, pocket 7s, I'm ahead. I went too greedy and went too close to pot sizing, when in reality I think 40 to 60% pot is the right sizing. When he doesn't snap call, I feel really good about my hand because all the overpairs he will call instantly. I look at him, he ends up debating, and when he flicks in the call, I feel pretty good about my hand until he reveals that he had ace 9. It's unfortunate that it was a very big pot at this stage, and those pots really matter because now I have only a couple of blinds left and I'm once again in the risk zone.
Ace 9, bro.
At this point, the tournament can go so fast in either way. I have a very aggressive table and we will see some really big pots.
The prize pool is confirmed. We're gonna pay 23 spots with the 23rd player finisher receiving $311,000, and the winner of this record-breaking event will take home $6,180,000.
After hearing the payout announcement, the pressure starts to turn up. But then Tony Lin joins our table in seat 6. Tony Renlin is an absolute legend. He's one of the funniest players in the whole circuit. Just such a treat to have at the table. It makes it really lighthearted to play against him.
INVITATIONAL, can you believe?
Right after the break, I find myself in a really tough spot. I've risked my tournament life once already today, and it's about to happen again. Alex is opening to 25,000 and I look down at 10-9 suited on the button. Alex is the most aggressive player on the table. I've seen him play quite a few hands and I know that he is capable to play a little bit to lose. So I end up calling my 10-9 suited and Alex Ponakov's in the big blind calls as well. So the flop comes ace high, and after Ponakov's checks, Alex is betting 30,000 quite quickly. He bets it so fast that I didn't really think that he had time to consider his options, which gives a little room where I don't really know how to interpret that yet. With 10-9 suited, I have a rather clear call and I put in the 30,000 chips. When the turn pairs the 7, it's generally a decent card for me. I don't think he's betting many 7s for this sizing on the flop. After he checks really fast, that really leaves not too many hands, because on the flop with this sizing he's basically saying he has ace king, ace queen, ace check, maybe ace 10, maybe something like ace 7 or ace 9 as well. After a very fast check on the turn, I don't think many of those hands have an easy decision to check, so it already makes it hard to put him on a value hand, because most of them I would think he would consider betting at least for a couple of seconds. So the river is a complete blank, and after just a few seconds Alex puts me all in. Now my adrenaline is pumping because it's a huge spot. Getting put all in a moment like this, in such a big turnaround, is extremely uncomfortable. So in this moment, I really want to take my time. Betting quickly on the flop, I would say he has maybe ace king, ace queen, ace jack, ace 10, maybe 9-7 or a set. After the quick check on the turn, I would discount most of those combos because I don't think he has many ace king, ace queen, ace jack because those could still value bet on the turn. The early hand that mostly makes sense is an ace without a kicker. A hand like ace 5, ace 6 that is probably betting the flop, probably checking the turn, and then realizes on the river that I don't have a stronger ace and puts me all in. When I throw in the first time bank, he starts to talk.
I almost showed my hand. I thought it was like we threw a chip in. Oh.
So that could mean something. He knows most people don't bluff and talk at the same time and he's just trying to overcompensate.
We've shown the ace. Not that strong.
We both know this is a conversation, but we also both know this is a game played just based on facial expressions, communication, and the energy that the other person gives away, and you try to pick up just the smallest detail.
Tony, I don't know what to do.
Even if we fold, it still won't be the short stack.
100% fold to find the table. I'm in the best at short stack player. When I deep, I don't know how to play. All I was short.
No matter how confident I am in my read or in my decision, it's just a really high stress situation. Thinking through the hand, looking at him, how he feels and how he reacts, I end up making the call for my tournament life.
Ace 10, Mario.
Wow.
Ace 10.
Ace.
10 now.
Wow.
The moment he shows that he has a bluff, one of the best feelings in poker, I end up doubling up my stack and still being able to be in a tournament is incredible.
Mario, you are dangerous. Got a new sugar mommy, huh?
Even after this tense hand, going into the next level, I get myself into back-to-back hands with Alex. So Christoph opens and Alex makes a fairly quick call and I look down at pocket kings. I have just above 20 big blinds in the small blind. Generally that's a stack size where I don't want to 3-bet that much and rather shove, especially in a squeeze spot. But I think this spot is unique, so I end up deciding to go for a small 3-bet to 90,000. Christoph folds and Alex instantly puts me all in. I'm obviously snap calling and it turned out that it was a bit of a call. He had pocket 8s and my tournament life is at risk once again. So at this point, it's a really big pot. It's for above average chips for a real shot to make it to the money and have a deep run in the tournament. Once I see the king on the flop, obviously that's fantastic news. I'm almost locked to double up. So on the turn, I have 100% equity. Even if you have the best hand, all the relief for being all in these situations just falls off. The very next hand, I look down at king jack offsuit. You always have the possibility that he puts you all in at any time. So even though it's uncomfortable, I want to play aggressively against it.
90.
So I end up 3-betting king jack offsuit and it folds back to him. The way he calls pre-flop, it felt like a decision between calling or folding, so I don't think he's really at the top of his range. The flop comes ace high and he checks over to me. When I look at him, I notice that he doesn't look at the board and he's a little bit disinterested. So that makes my decision to bet easy. I will go for a small sizing, especially with a hand that I'm happy to take the pot down with on the flop. Taking over 500,000 chips from a single player in a tournament obviously creates a dynamic. You feel the tension on the table. It makes things a little bit more tense, especially just afterwards. With only 31 players remaining, I'm not at the peak of my chips, but I'm very close to making the money and cashing for over $300,000. And at this point, I'm getting into a very unexpected hand against Linus. It falls to me to the cutoff and I look down at ace queen offsuit. With 16 big blinds, I have the option to shuffle in or to min raise. I ended up going for a small min raise. He considers it a little bit, goes back and forth and ends up putting me all in.
That was pretty great to me.
It's close to the money, so I would prefer not to be all in, but ace queen is just too strong of a hand, so I make the call. When I see him turn over check 9 suited, that's not the ideal scenario. He's quite a good hand and a lot of outs. I'm not dominating him, but I still have over 60% equity. So when the flop comes check 6, my heart sinks in. It's the biggest tournament of the year and I know I'm almost drawing dead on the flop. The queen on the turn gives me just a little bit more hope. I have 2 remaining queens in the deck that could save my tournament life. The river doesn't change anything and the reality sinks in that I just bested the most important tournament of the year. It's tough to bust a tournament like this, but I'm very happy with the decisions I made throughout the day, and in the end that's the only part that I can control.
Well, the final table of the $200,000 TRITON Invitational has been set.
So as tough and fun it was to play against Pavicevic the whole day, he put me in tough spots. Ultimately, he ended up making it to the final 3, where an absolutely incredible hand is happening.
Kings for Pavi? What the? All-in call? Oh my god. It's a 36 million chip pot.
The 2 biggest stacks have both over 70 big blinds, while Seth on the sidelines has under 10. There's 39 million chips in play, and in the middle is over 36 million. So whoever wins this pot is gonna end up winning the tournament, and with just 3 left, they go in the ultimate cooler with aces against kings.
Seth can't believe it. My jaw's on the floor. I don't even know what to say.
Oh my god, that is the sickest turn ever.
Well, good luck calculating how much that King of Hearts is worth.
The turn is absolutely incredible. It's worth millions and millions of dollars and completely shifts it.
Javi's got 2 pulls at a black ace, whereas we are heads up here. Doesn't find it.
So without the ace on the river, Alex now takes down the biggest pot of the tournament and is about to win the event. For an unknown player who's barely played any live poker, to win the biggest tournament of the year is an incredible achievement and incredibly hard to do. That shows he has a very great feeling for the game. I'm sure it's not the last time that he will win a poker tournament.